Bulls Nation, the Chicago Bulls finished their third game of the regular season and we once again remain undefeated in this season. There is a lot to discuss in relation to the Chicago Bulls today. There were some worrying signs to this game, I'm not going to lie. Although we win comfortably against the Detroit Pistons, we have a lot of positives and a few negatives that we need to discuss amongst these players. Without further ado, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons in this video. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Detroit Pistons game reaction. The Chicago Bulls in their third game of the regular season, off of a back-to-back as well that we should definitely mention, against a young, energetic Detroit Pistons team, and the Chicago Bulls put them away very early. With that being said though, there are still a lot of worrying signs that this team might have to face, might need to resolve in the future, that we will also discuss in this video. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the game reaction for today, and overall who was your player of the game, because I'm going to have a tough time deciding it in this video. Let's start off with the score, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls won this game 97-82. It was a relatively low-scoring game for both sides. The Chicago Bulls, in all three games in the regular season, have started off slowly and then picked things up midway through the first quarter and sometimes even in the second quarter. That's a trend the Chicago Bulls seems to be having. Every game is a little bit of a slow start. The Detroit Pistons came out and scored 9 straight points. A lot of it was attacking the paint and targeting Nikola Vucevic. And I want to talk about how proud I am of Nikola Vucevic in this game. Although it wasn't a terrific game, it's definitely a game I can be proud of with him. But after that 9-0 run, the Chicago Bulls just transformed the way that they played. They stepped up their defensive intensity. They ended up making a little bit more shots, running out in transition. They were getting some foul calls as well. It was just an overall transformation from the first couple minutes of the first quarter to the rest of the game. With that being said, there are a few worrying signs for me when I looked at this game today. Obviously, with it being a low-scoring game, that's something that we do need to look at. A lot of players were not efficient in their scoring today, and the starting lineup wasn't efficient in their scoring today, and that's a worry when you verse a better team in the NBA and you're scoring like this. There will be teams that will make you pay for that. So luckily we got away with it today because we did verse a lower caliber team. No disrespect to the Pistons, but they are a younger team. They are a team with a little bit more inexperience, and they couldn't make us pay when we were really, I guess, inefficient in today's game. Another trend that the Chicago Bulls, or at least in this game alone that they did have, they were complacent when they had the lead. There was one stage in this game where the Chicago Bulls gave away a 17-0 run. That is something, in my opinion, that just should not be happening. And at the end of the day, that is what kind of put Detroit back in the game. We were up by 20, 25 points at times, and the Detroit Pistons went on a 17-0 run and forced their way back in the game for a little bit. And the Chicago Bulls in the fourth quarter just could not get things going again. And it was a bit of a worrying thing. Maybe we're going to see the Chicago Bulls potentially choke another lead like we saw last year. But thankfully, once again, this is a different team. This is a team that's primed on winning and has experience throughout the team to manage things like this. But it is a worrying sign to see your team become complacent when you are up by so big, and that's something that I don't want to see against better teams. Again, we've got really good teams coming up in the next week for the Chicago Bulls. These are things where if we are up by 20 points, we are up by 25 points, we cannot be complacent. We have to keep the same energy, we have to keep the same mentality, we have to keep grinding it out on defense, and we need to be effective in scoring. These are the things the Chicago Bulls need to look at when it comes to future games against better opponents. I think today we definitely got away with it, but relatively we were comfortable in this game, and sometimes being comfortable is not the safest place to be because you do get a little bit timid. You do get a little bit lackadaisical. You do kind of take it a little bit easy, and that's something that I don't want to see going forward, and that's a learning curve for this team going into future games. The positives Again, I thought our defense when we were actually playing really, really hard was outstanding. I thought our defense today, outside of course, the fourth quarter when we kind of let them back in later in the third, I really thought our defense stepped it up in the first quarter and the second quarter when we were really, really carrying the game. We were having a strangle on the game. We were kind of dictating the way that we wanted to play. The Pistons could not answer what the Chicago Bulls provided defensively. They couldn't score in the paint. They couldn't really hit the perimeter. The Detroit Pistons saw the full effect of how strong our defense can be. And being a young team as they are, and again, I'll give full credit to the Pistons for playing really hard. And they were also pretty defensive. That's why we only scored 97 points. They could not match our defensive display, and our offense is just superior than theirs, even though we were inefficient. And these are the things that you take away from this game. Very happy to see the Chicago Bulls won this game off of a back-to-back, because there have been times in last year's season where the Chicago Bulls looked extremely tired within second halves of games, and we ended up losing the game. Again, the Spurs is an example of this. We gave away a 23-point lead, I believe, to the San Antonio Spurs last year. It's one of the games I'll never forget because of how angry I was at the team at that time. And that was off of a back-to-back. And the second half of that game was one of the worst things I've ever seen. So thankfully, this time around, the Chicago Bulls obviously were not as tired. Obviously, it's the beginning of the season. They shouldn't be as tired. And obviously, we have players that can kind of manage that system, maybe even potentially resolve some of those issues that we saw last year, and we definitely saw that in today's game. Let's look at the individual performances in today's game. Let's start off with Lonzo Ball, who had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, and 4 blocks. Defensively, this guy is unbelievable. And once again, I'll continue to say it. Although he didn't have his best game, and I know he didn't have his best game, I think scoring-wise, he could have done a little bit better. And he only had 1 assist today. He had more turnovers than assists. There's not something you're going to see from Lonzo Ball every single game. But defensively is always where we rely on Lonzo Ball the most. And that's something that is good to know. When Lonzo Ball's not having his best offensive game, we all know defensively he's still going to bring it every night. Because defensively, you need to be consistent. And that's something Lonzo Ball is truly consistent in. Defensive capabilities. And we rely on him a lot in the defensive end, especially in the starting lineup. So I'm very happy that he got his 3 steals, his 4 blocks, his multiple deflections. And he's just good closing out overall. He was fantastic on the defensive end. Offensively, I can't lie. I don't think Lonzo Ball had a strong offensive game today. It's not many times you see more turnovers than assists with Lonzo Ball. I think scoring-wise, he could do a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I would take his defensive performance over his offensive performance any day of the week because he is that guy in the point guard position that we need defense from. And he definitely delivered in that area. DeMar DeRozan had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks. DeMar DeRozan was spectacular today. He wasn't, I guess, the best scoring-wise in terms of efficiency. I'm pretty sure efficiency, he was around 38%, which is... It is what it is, I guess. It's not the best, especially from a player of DeMar DeRozan's caliber. However, when things got a little bit tough, when we needed DeMar DeRozan, especially with the second unit, he stepped up, he got to the free throw line, he made some shots, and he was playmaking from the half court, which is fantastic to see. And that's what we all wanted DeMar DeRozan to do when he came into this team, was to be that type of player. And we are seeing it more and more now. His assist numbers are going up by the game. And it looks like we are starting to see the DeMar DeRozan we all wanted to see on this Chicago Bulls team, which is fantastic to see. I really thought he had a decent game. And the 2 blocks, he's playing a lot better defense than what I expected him to play in this team so far. And that's a great sign. And hopefully he can continue his defensive display in future games as well. Nikola Vucevic, 15 points, 19 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. I am so proud of Nikola Vucevic's game today. And the reason why is, in the very first quarter, they targeted Nikola Vucevic. Once again, we saw it in the Detroit Pistons game away from home, and we saw it in the Detroit Pistons game at home. They targeted Nikola Vucevic at home. And I feel like Nikola Vucevic took that target, being targeted as the weaker link on the defensive end, so personal that he decided to target their center, which again is the right thing to do. Nikola Vucevic is much taller than Isaiah Stewart. He can dominate him in the post. He can bully him in the rebounding department. We didn't see that in the first game with Nikola Vucevic. He ended up being a little bit more stagnant. He got a little bit frustrated, and he just wasn't making shots overall. But This game, I'm very proud of his defensive display, getting 3 blocks and 2 steals, and he ended up taking Isaiah Stewart out of the game. After the first quarter, I did not recognize a single thing Isaiah Stewart did throughout the entire game. Nikola Vucevic did a fantastic job. Kelly Olynyk also didn't have a tremendous game either. So it was a great performance from Nikola Vucevic in today's game, and that's why I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud that when things got targeted towards him, he responded back by targeting their center. More often than not, Nikola Vucevic will be the better offensive center than majority of the league. So when players are targeting Nikola Vucevic needs to target them right back by entering the post, by doing the pick and pops, by just attacking the rim in general. And I think he'll have better games than this, of course. Efficiency-wise, he wasn't strong, but I think he'll have much better games than this down the line. But it's good to see that he is attacking other centers as well. It's not just a one-way street. Patrick Williams had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. I enjoy Patrick Williams' game today. I think by far he was the most efficient scorer on the team with those 9 points. I believe he shot over 50% today, which was fantastic. He got a little bit more rebounds. He was a little bit more aggressive in the rebounding as well. I think slowly we are starting to see a better version of Patrick Williams. Now, many people have been arguing Patrick Williams shouldn't be starting or not. I don't want to be in a situation to kind of make that decision right now. I think Patrick Williams is put in the starting lineup for a reason, and until we give him the patience required, I feel like it's too early to kind of judge him as a starter at the moment. But today, another strong performance in the mid-range. He took a lot more mid-range shots. He was taking shots as well. He wasn't too hesitant today, which is fantastic to see. And overall, a pretty strong performance from Patrick Williams, I must say, and he's getting better every game. That's a positive to take away. He is getting better every single game. From the first game to the third game, he is taking steps in the right direction, and I'm very happy to see that. Zach LaVine had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Zach LaVine was cold today, and to be honest, if I had to pick a must improve, I will get to it later, but Zach LaVine is definitely in contention for that. Zach LaVine, playmaking-wise, was pretty strong. Rebounding-wise, he did his thing. Offensively, really bad shot selections at times. He got blocked so many times going to the basket. He is a really good offensive player. I think there's no question about it that Zach LaVine is a fantastic offensive player. But there were some shots today that were extremely questionable, and hence why he only got 14 points today. He also was called from the field, which is another big factor to that. And overall, this is not a game you're going to see from Zach LaVine very often. And the fact that he got that stat line and we're winning a game like this speaks volumes towards how good this team has progressed from last year to this year. Alex Caruso had 12 points, 4 assists, 5 steals, 1 block. An exciting, fantastic performance from Alex Caruso. There's no other way to put it. I thought he was absolutely amazing in today's game. 5 steals for Alex Caruso. We know he's everywhere. And once again, off of the bench, this is the perfect guy to have on your team. Someone that's going to be a hustle defender. Someone that's going to feel like he's being everywhere on the court. He's going to be guarding big men. He's going to be guarding guards. And of course, he's able to score in bunches as well. He did fantastic today. And I'm very, very happy with his performance. Javonte Green had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He's the last player I'm going to be talking about today. Javonte Green, many people are starting to really believe in this guy to be a really solid bench player. I feel like at the beginning, of course, when we re-signed this guy, not many people saw that he was going to be a fantastic role player. Many people might have, but I feel like a lot of people didn't really see him in that area. And so far, he's really stepping up to the plate, and he is getting and earning his minutes every single night. If there's any question of Javonte Green now, it's coming based on reluctance or hesitation, or maybe people don't want to be wrong. Javonte Green is stepping up as that bench player, and he is one of the best bench players we have on this team right now, and he deserves a lot of praise, and his energy is something that's irreplaceable for this team. And it shows when he stepped on the court. We needed his energy, and his energy was delivered to the Chicago Bulls. Congratulations to Javonte Green. Now let's go to the must improve. I've kind of already given it away. My must improve is actually going to be Zach LaVine, just based purely on the shot selection that he took. Now, the best thing to say about this must improve for Zach LaVine, there's not going to be many games where he has a performance like this. And also, there's about a 95% chance that he's going to improve, which is fantastic. Usually, especially last year, I used to give the must improve a lot to players like Wendell, maybe even Kobe White to an extent as well, Larry Marketing. Then those players on the bench like Denzel Valentine. I gave the must improve to those guys most of the time because they were the ones that were kind of lackluster on the team. But it was a consistent theme with those guys. With this team and Zach LaVine being the must improve, it's not going to be a consistent thing with Zach LaVine because we know next game he could drop 30 again. That's just how he is. That's how scoring goes. Sometimes you just have an off night scoring, and that's what Zach LaVine had, and that's why he's my must improve, and that's why I'm fully confident in the next game he will be back to his good old self, the MVP Zach LaVine that we all know. And the player of the game, I really don't know who to give it to, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like you could have you can have a debate on a lot of these guys. You could have a debate on Lonzo Ball for his defensive display, DeMar DeRozan for his 21-6 performance. I think statistically, DeMar DeRozan is probably player of the game. Nikola Vucevic with his 15-19 performance. And Alex Caruso off of the bench with 12-4-5. It is a bit tough, and I don't know if I'm going to get this right or not, but I do feel like I'm going to pick DeMar DeRozan in today's game, just because I thought well-rounded overall. He was good rebounding-wise. He was really good offensively. He was our leading point player today. Assist-wise, I think he led our team in assists as well, which is fantastic. And he got 2 blocks in today's game. I feel like DeMar DeRozan is probably the one I would pick out of everybody. But again, it's so close. This team was so balanced today in many ways. And that's either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your interpretation. That DeMar DeRozan is a really hard choice to pick, but that's the one I personally would go with. I feel like DeMar DeRozan was really strong today, and he is my player of the game. We have versed the Detroit Pistons twice. We are 2-0 against the Detroit Pistons. We will face them another 2 times in this regular season. It won't be for a while, I don't think. So we do have some time to kind of digest how the Pistons play. And maybe next time we go at them again, we can see a stronger performance from the Chicago Bulls. But overall, we are 3-0 in the regular season. We remain undefeated, which is fantastic to see. I can't remember a start like this we've had for a while. And of course, we have tougher times ahead. We have tougher challenges. We've got the Knicks very soon. We've got Boston soon. We've got Philly soon. These are really tough teams ahead of us. But for now, we must focus on the next game, which is against the Toronto Raptors away from home. The Chicago Bulls will be traveling to Canada and will be playing the Toronto Raptors. They do not have Pascal Siakam, I believe, which is their best player, which once again could be very, very good for the Chicago Bulls. However, we must not be complacent. We must not take this team lightly. This team beat the Boston Celtics very comfortably last time I saw the Toronto Raptors play. That's a warning sign for the Chicago Bulls that if we take this team lightly, we could end up getting burnt very hard by this team. So what we need to do, we need to go into that game, provide the same defensive energy, and hopefully our scoring will work itself out in that game as well. Let's not be complacent when we travel over there. Let's not be hesitant. Let's not be timid. Let's not be lazy. Let's go out in Toronto and let's show them all we have. And let's see if we can walk away with another victory. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. Enjoy the 3-0. We have a day's break until the Toronto game. So enjoy it, feel it, embrace it. And we'll talk more again with that game against the Toronto Raptors. Take care and peace.